So thrilled to be here. Welcome to the ARF Great Mind Awards. It's really a fitting culmination of the last 3 days of insights, innovation, and impact, and especially today, which is all about Make Your Mark and recognizing leaders at Rethink. We're really honored to celebrate these accomplishments. The winners and nominees are most impressive across our 7 categories, and we spent a lot of time thinking about what would be the right categories for us to be recognizing and what do we want to be heralding going forward in order to create more of the kind of growth and change that we believe that the industry needs for researchers to get and keep our seats at the table and answer those all-important C-suite questions. So our categories are Young Pros Make Your Mark Award, Game Changer Award, Future Forward Award, which this year is focused on programmatic buying. I don't think there's a hotter topic than that, and Steve and Michael certainly reinforced that in their discussion we just had. Several Journal of Advertising awards, the President's Award, of which there are 2 this year, our Board of Directors Lifetime Achievement Award, and then finally the ARF Lifetime Achievement Award. So I was personally struck by the amazing talent and opportunities, and I've been even more impressed by all the people that want to give personal tributes to the award winners today. So I'm going to move pretty quickly through my remarks so that we can give others a chance to talk about these wonderful award winners. So the first award goes to the Young Pro Make Your Mark Award. And this peer-nominated award, which I want to reinforce, I think peer recognition is the thing that we value the most. And so this group of young pros got together and decided who they felt had been the most outstanding young pro in this past year. So this award goes to the Young Pro Advisory Board member who's gone above and beyond the call of duty in service to the ARF Young Pros. In the past year, this nominee has truly made his mark on the ARF Young Pros by serving as the anchoring member of the Young Pros Advisory Board in Chicago. When I first got here 2 years ago, I was encouraged to take the ARF out of New York City. And so we're particularly proud of the presence that we've been able to establish in Chicago with the help of board members and leaders like Jan Fulgoni and Bob Tomain and others that have really put forward support of this work. So this person was instrumental in establishing a Chicago steering committee, planning and leading 4 successful events in 2014, as well as growing the group from 60 to 160 members. So think about the leadership that this young pro has demonstrated by growing this group to that kind of scale that quickly. And this comprises actually 12% of the ARF Young Pros nationwide. So please join me in a big round of applause for Joe Wadentroba, Senior Analyst Consulting, Nielsen Marketing Analytics. Okay. Congratulations. You have it now. Thank you. So this crowdsourced award recipient, this next award is the Game Changer Award. And this is a bit of a new category for us, but we feel like it's really, if you think about the themes of the conference this year, you really do have to be a game changer to keep both up with the pace of change that Michael and Steve were talking about this morning, as well as keeping up with the pace of change in your own organization. So this award is a crowdsourced award. So we went out and we solicited input from a variety of judges and members of the ARF to say, all right, who do you believe have been game changers in this past year? So this award recognizes a change agent who's led their department or organization to new heights, a leader who finds the gaps, creates opportunities, and inspires us all to raise the status quo. We had over 40 nominations. many of whom are here in the room today, but I know will agree with me. This is a very, very impressive list, and we're going to actually be evangelizing and sharing the nominations on our website of these nominees, because every one of these game changers deserves recognition. The winner, as crowdsourced, is a standout leader in digital marketing, research, and measurement. His background gives him a unique perspective and skill set that's transforming how Kellogg, there's your first tip, applies marketing intelligence to their business. He's a leader in innovation, partnership. He pushes the envelope consistently. He's the opposite of someone who's too busy. You've heard the line, if you want to get something done, ask a busy person to do it. And I would say that Aaron Kennedy is just a perfect example of that. His experience as both an engineer and a marketer provides a unique perspective to his role in strategy and analytics operations. He's inherently curious, tests every type of measurement, and evolves Kellogg's business to be more agile, intelligent, and a modern marketing machine. His approach and perspective are truly unique and represent the future of marketing research and measurement, insights, and analytics. And our winner is Aaron Fetters, Director of Insights and Analytics Solutions Center at Kellogg Company. I have to say what a great delight it is to present an award to someone from Kellogg, having spent 32 years at General Mills.
We can't go wrong, right?
Yeah, you want to say a few words? Or?
You want me to say a couple words?
Sure.
I guess I would say two things. First, it's extremely humbling, as you said, Gail, to have a peer-nominated award, to be granted a peer-nominated award, particularly amongst the peer set that was nominated. So extremely humbling. I thank you very much. And I guess second, I would say that particularly the game-changing award is meaningful to me. If anyone has seen me speak or present in the past, I've often referenced Moneyball as an analogy to what we want to do with measurement. And my favorite part of Moneyball is when they get to the end and they say, hey, if we win by adopting this approach, we will not just have won, we will have changed the game. And I usually try to close my presentations with that. So it's very, very humbling to receive this. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So the next award is in the area of Future Forward, and this year we decided that we wanted to recognize the area of programmatic buying. The Future Forward Award recognizes particular achievement in a trending topic of the day, and I'm sure you'll all agree that programmatic buying is a trending topic of the day. If not the trending topic of the day, also mentioned in the discussion that we had a few minutes ago. The 2015 award is focused on learnings in the programmatic buying space and recognizes the person or team who incorporated one or more new and innovative approaches that advance the application and effectiveness of programmatic buying. And this person not only incorporated, but actually invented a new forward-thinking approach and is a pioneer in programmatic buying. Rod and his team created a system where suspect cookies are placed into quarantine. It's a penalty box system that identifies suspicious sites through a variety of means. And then browsers who visit these sites are made ineligible to receive ads for a set interval. And if the browser visits another suspicious site within that interval, the clock is then reset. So this is a very, very innovative way for marketers to be protected from paying for fraudulent impressions. And you heard about this topic of viewability and the importance of this. I'm sure you've all read about the fear of fraud in our industry today. And so this person's work is critically important. With his intuition and insight, he's leading the way when it comes to ensuring marketing dollars are valued and key metrics are driven by real human behavior. And we this morning heard about talking, rather than consumers, to talk about humans and human behavior. And as Michael encouraged us, watch people's feet, not just their lips. So please join me in a big round of applause for our winner, Rod Hook, the co-founder and CTO of Distillery. He has a video. Yep. These awful glasses. So the next 3 awards are in the area of outstanding contributions to the ARF's Journal of Advertising Research. And I hope you'll join me in welcoming Jenny Romaniuk. I hope that you all have been able to discover the continuous improvement that the Journal of Advertising Research has been demonstrating, and not the least of which is due to Jenny's contributions. She's the international co-executive editor of the JAR. So please join me in welcoming Jenny to the stage. With pleasure.
Hi everyone. I'm here to give 3 awards today. The first one goes to the best reviewer for the Journal of Advertising Research. And I will say, reviewing is one of the most important but selfless tasks that people do, because when you review a paper, you not only judge whether it's good or bad, you actually help that author and the journal create better content. The best reviewer is judged by the 2 executive editors, myself and John Ford, and our winner is Professor Scott Koslow from Macquarie University. So Scott is unable to be here today, so I'll accept the award on his behalf. We next have our 2 Best Paper Awards, and these are actually judged by our 2 important constituent groups, our Senior Advisory Board and our Editorial Review Board. And I want to thank many of you who are in the audience who are part of those groups for us, as you also make a very important contribution to the quality of research that we're able to publish. These articles are the ones that scored the most votes from these groups, and we have first of all, the best academic paper. And this is something that's covering an area that we think is, and our readers tell us, is one of very vital areas in terms of advertising research, and that's how people set budgets. And the winner for their paper, How Corporate Cultures Drive Advertising and Promotion Budgets, are Professor Douglas West, who's Professor of Marketing at King's College London, John Ford, who is Professor and Eminent Scholar at Old Dominion University, and Paul Farris, who is the Landmark Communications Professor at the University of Virginia. Now, unfortunately, they also could not be here today, so I'm accepting this award on behalf of Doug, John, and Paul. So please, a round of applause to honour them. And finally, we have the Best Practitioner paper, which again was judged by the editorial review boards, and the reviewers cited the paper's methodology and practical implications as the reasons for choosing this paper. What they said was the knowledge in it can make a big difference to the way media is bought and viewed. So I'd like to congratulate the winners. Peter Pinter, Director of Sales and Marketing at NeuroInsight, Sean Sexes, Senior Analyst at NeuroInsight, Jeffrey Neild, Chief Operating Officer at NeuroInsight, James Heer, Chief Strategy Officer at MEC, Amelia Millward, Head of Research and Insights at the Seven Network, and Richard Silberstein, Chief Executive Officer at NeuroInsight Global, for their paper, The Social Viewing of Television. And I'd like to invite Peter up to accept the award.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Now it's my great pleasure to share with you our 2 ARF President Award winners. This year, the ARF President's Award goes specifically to industry leaders who distinguish themselves consistently by asking and answering, experimenting, and leading the toughest issues facing our industry today in the measurement area. This is the year we've issued a measurement mandate, so the President's Award this year is specifically for leadership in the measurement area, honoring those with courage, conviction, and confidence who are pushing ahead on new measurement horizons and sharing through the ARF platforms and industry platforms and portals, and those of all of our industry counterparts, the ANA, the 4As, the IAB, SIM, the MRC, and the CRE, to name a few. Given the embarrassment of riches in measurement opportunities and I would say woes on any given day that the C-suite is pointing out, and the increase in accountability, we actually have 2 award winners this year. Our first award winner has dedicated her entire career to measurement science and insight and has tirelessly forged new frontiers, presenting groundbreaking research as recently as yesterday. That's your first hint. Leslie Wood began her career in advertising as a media researcher and was an early experimenter in advanced analytics. She's pushed consistently and led the agenda for single source well before the promises existed, but with ingenuity and tenacity. Her vision to align media GRPs and delivery to actual consumer behavior, connecting head, heart, and feet across the path to purchase, and her work has pushed the industry significantly forward. With a passion for tackling the world's most challenging measurement issues, Leslie has now put her thought leadership and intelligence against quantifying the long-term effects of advertising. Her approach is collaborative. Her values are integrity, hard work, and delivering results. She's a great listener. She's a coach, a mentor, a friend to me and to the industry. And I think Leslie works on and chooses some of the toughest issues to push forward on, and then she just does it with just great aplomb and enthusiasm, and she brings a can-do-it attitude. And that combination of can-do attitude to some really tough issues is just a very, very unique quality. She's a pro, and she's a nice person too. So that can be a rare combination as well, I've been told. I would like to welcome Leslie to the stage. Yeah. Now, these roses, please. Leslie is receiving these roses from Fred Brandt, who's her old boss at Ted Bates, so who cannot be here. So that's your first presentation, right? Yeah, we'll do pictures. Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Leslie, this is your day in the sun. 4 folks are going to come up and give talks. Linda Dupree is going to be first, and then we'll just roll. So Linda, Bill Harvey, Kate Sirkin, and Dave Poltrak each are going to come up in succession and give tribute.
Can I say thank you?
Would you like to say thank you first?
Either way.
Feel free. Yes, you can say thank you.
Well, this is great
Here, come
fun,
on
as
up
you
here.
can imagine. Leslie's been an innovator from the earliest part of her career. I actually wasn't there then, but at Bates, of course, she did a lot of work in reach and frequency that still stands the test of time. But really, today, she's being honored in particular for her work around single source data analysis. And frankly, she is the world's expert in this today, at this very particular point in time, which is a hard thing to say because there are a lot of people working in this area, but she is in fact #1 on the planet because Neil Clark told me so, by the way. Neil Cantor, sorry. Secondly, let me just explain why that's not hyperbole. If you think about it, Leslie has been working in this area for a very, very long time. She has been there from the beginning, both in terms of her work around recency theory, which we most associate, of course, with Jones and with Erwin Effron, but of course Leslie's work, as well as Walter Reichel's work, who's with us today, really formed the technical underpinnings of that theory, which has been so important to all of us. Then secondly, when she worked on Project Apollo, along with Nielsen, Arbitron, Procter & Gamble, and another number of other advertisers, Leslie really contributed so fully, using single source yet again, to the methodology, to the practical application, as well as even the systems, because she's not afraid to get her hands dirty with data, essentially, and code, which most of us are. And that really made all the difference there. Then when Project Apollo ended, it didn't go forward, Leslie made the counterintuitive choice to say, no, actually single source and big data are going to be bigger than ever. And I will say, Leslie, I think I admire you always for your counterintuitive grasp of things as well, because she was absolutely right. She then went on to found Media Trust, which was and is a group of world-class researchers dedicated to single source analysis, a number of them here today, who've done magnificent work in this area. But I will say that Leslie's most significant contributions are today and over the last few years, when Mike Nazaro hired her to be Chief Research Officer at Nielsen Catalina Solutions, because she's had a wealth of data, a wealth of opportunity to really explore the value and the full value proposition of single source data, which you've certainly seen in her papers at the ARF across the last few years. I have great admiration for Leslie. There are a legion of admirers here and around the world. And it's not just for your work, Leslie. It's for you as a person and for the enthusiasm and curiosity that you bring to life. So congratulations.
Hi, I'm Bill Harvey. I wanted to add something to what had been said. So many of my lines have been used already, but to me, Leslie is, without a doubt, the most creative analyst we have in the industry. And you saw examples of that yesterday in terms of the long-term effects of advertising, and it goes way back. I just wanted to share something that maybe other people haven't seen. If we could put up my slide. Oh, there it is. So for many years, I've had a blog or a newsletter and been predicting really the state of the world we live in today fairly well since, gosh, 1979. And this was something, and I always picked out people and things that I thought were going to be important, that would lead us. And this was a study that Leslie did using single source data back when it was really new. And she was faced with this colossal amount of data and complexity. And as she always does, being creative and being an experimenter, she didn't take the straightforward path. She didn't take the road less traveled. She took her machete and hacked her way through the data jungle and created a whole new road. So here what she's found is that brand A averaged, so she came up with a new metric. She's always doing that. You have to love that about her. A whole new way of counting that gives us new insight. We need that, especially during a period of rapid change and complexity like today. So she took all this data and she came up with a metric. Out of 100 shopping trips, how many of them are captured by brand A? Well, it was 8.6%. But under what conditions does it change or maybe go up or down? Well, she found that if brand A's commercial had been exposed at least twice in the last 2 days before the shopping trip, that went to 16.7, it doubled. And for the other two brands, brand B and C, it tripled. This was kind of the beginning of recency. And I just wanted to bring it to light. Thank you, Leslie, for your great work.
I'd like to add my own congratulations to Leslie Wood for winning the President's Award for Measurement Leadership. Leslie's always been a great partner and leader for SMG and our clients. What I really admire about Leslie is her ability to just see the possibilities in any data set that's given to her and share them back with the industry. I know it's reflecting comments of people earlier, so that we're all smarter, and I think that's important in today's world. Leslie obviously did this with the Project Apollo, where she combined data from 6,000 Arbitron and Nielsen homes in 2006 for our client Procter & Gamble. This project, while short-lived, did generate a huge amount of valuable knowledge into how to manipulate those single-source data sets to get insight into how advertising works. We think that this led to her ability to, again, see those possibilities and access to Nielsen Catalina data and mine that massive data set. And the work shared only yesterday on long-term effects is incredibly important to both us and particularly to our client Kellogg, who she deep dived into, as well as many of the CPG brands in the industry. Leslie's a regular visitor to the flyover city of Chicago, and we're very happy about that. She's always excited to bring new opportunities and partnership, and often cupcakes as well, to the city when she comes to see us. So we applaud and thank Leslie for seeing the possibilities in the data and sharing them back with the industry, and making us all smarter and better equipped to deal with the challenges of today and the future. Thank you, Leslie.
Hi, I'm Dave Poltrak. You're probably sick of me by now, but Leslie Wood. The previous speakers have done a great job highlighting Leslie's extraordinary accomplishments. I'm going to focus on something else, her smile. There is something about that smile that says, I have figured it out and you haven't. Leslie is like an extraordinary marathon runner who sprints ahead of the pack, then stops and lets the other runners catch up, then sprints ahead of the pack again, then stops and lets the other runners catch up, and then crosses the finish line with all the other runners. We are the pack, and Leslie is our intellectual leader. For years, Leslie was an independent agent, focusing on the issues that excited her and attacking those issues with an independent spirit that was not compromised by corporate or institutional pressures. It was during these years that she established herself as an inspirational visionary in the field. The history of media research in the U.S. for decades featured a competitive rivalry between Nielsen and Arbitron. For that reason, many of my peers were concerned when Nielsen bought Arbitron. I was not concerned by that seminal event. However, when I learned that Leslie Wood was going to be joining Nielsen, that truly frightened me. We all have stories of promising industry leaders that have joined Nielsen, never to be seen again. Would Nielsen quiet the singularly most important independent thinker in our field? I should have known better. Nielsen has not changed Leslie. Leslie has changed Nielsen. For that alone, she deserves all of our heartfelt gratitude. It's all in that smile. When you see that smile, you know who is in charge. Congratulations, Leslie, on this award.
I'm speechless. Well, thank you. Thank you for such amazingly kind words. That's really, you're all talking about my past, but I really feel like what I've been given is huge opportunities, huge resources to work with. Prime among them is having clients, amazing clients, and Dave has been astronomical in helping guide and support and give us amazing things to do. But there are many, many clients, and it's amazing to be able to work with so many. As an independent person, of course, it was one at a time. But there's also amazing people. So I have an amazing team of researchers working for me. And then the people at NCS they're just some of the smartest people I've ever worked with. And then parents, we have Nielsen and we have Catalina, and the riches that they bring to us and the insight into making single source work has been phenomenal. And then of course, the best data in the whole wide world. I don't know anybody that could have more incredible resources than I have. I mean, you just couldn't put all this wonderful data together, and I get to play with it. It's like the most amazing opportunity in the whole world. So I'm kind of in the right place at the right time, and that's really great. There are a bunch of people to thank, so I really need to thank the team from Media Trust. It has been many years, 10 plus years, I think, working on measurement. We've been digging away. Bill showed the 1989 work. That was measurement. That was the beginning pieces to looking at how advertising changed behavior. So thank you, guys. Really great to work with you. I also have to thank all the people I work with, but I want to thank my family. And I mean, I not only get to work with great data, but I have an amazing husband who 34 years later, I'd still marry tomorrow. Amazing children. Healthy, wonderful kids, and just so many friends in the industry and friends in my life. I don't know how one could be happier. So thank you all. It's been really great.
Congratulations, Leslie. Our next President's Award goes to Brad Smallwood. He has a varied career, but all roads led to you get what you measure. He recently shared with me the importance of his engineering background to the work he's doing today as measurement lead at Facebook. And I have to just let everyone know that Facebook recused themselves as sponsors of the award ceremony from the selection of the award winners. Brad and his team are front and center pushing hard on the hardest measurement issues we face today, but his work is distinguished by his leadership gifts and skills to garner C-suite credibility, attention, and resources to drive sales growth. Carolyn Everson said, if it weren't for Brad, Facebook wouldn't have a business. That's a pretty bold statement. Very complimentary, but I think importantly, from a leadership standpoint, what it demonstrates, and the theme of what we've been talking about these past 3 days in terms of C-suite credibility, it demonstrates Brad's credibility with his C-suite, and indeed what sounds like his reputation within his company as being indispensable, which is a rare trait in today's dynamic media marketplace, where disruption among insights and analytics organizations is everybody's front page news and every company's front page news. Brad has built a team of experts that rise among the rest, most notably Daniel Slotweiner, Director of Advertising Research and an ARF Game Changer nominee. And I just have to mention this because true to form, these are both humble measurement mavens. They both suggested to me that the other one be nominated lest they be called into the spotlight for any recognition. So we would like to now, I have my fingers crossed for all of us, roll a video for Brad that the team put together.
Brad, congratulations on receiving the President's Award. You are pushing the industry forward on critical measurement topics and making all of us better.
We're proud of your industry-first approach, working with key partners like the ARF, the IAB, and the MRC, to find solutions that will ultimately help advance the advertising industry. We know you're never afraid to push the industry, and for that matter, to push us as well. We're also proud of the team you've built around you at Facebook, a team of objective, rigorous research partners for advertisers.
From establishing Facebook's research partnership with Nielsen for OCR and XCR, to launching closed-loop measurement with Datalogix, to most recently exploring viewability standards for feed-based advertising, in every case, you've come up with the solutions that serve advertisers and people well.
We're in business to grow clients' businesses. We tell marketers and agencies that they should not invest a single dollar unless they know that we are giving them an excellent ROI and that we are driving business outcomes. A few years ago, we were mostly a social media business. We talked to our clients and agencies about likes, shares, and comments. Brad, it is because of your leadership that you have now put us in a position where we can confidently share with marketers and agencies not only their ROI on every dollar that they invest with us, but we can actually share true business outcomes and be a partner in growing clients' businesses. Brad, I'm incredibly proud of you. I love working with you. You're a leader not only for Facebook and Instagram, but you're a tremendous leader in our entire industry. Congratulations, Brad.
Thanks for all of your hard work and passion, Brad. We know you'll continue to do so much to advance the advertising industry.
We are all really lucky to work with you.
So for game-changing measurement leadership, for growth-inspiring C-suite credibility, leadership, and driving to better answers in analytics, please join me in recognizing Brad. And I want to just say personally on behalf of the ARF, you've opened your doors out in your offices in California to open up the West Coast presence along with Jeffrey and others, and we're just so grateful. So thank you so much and congratulations. Yeah, we're going to do picture first.
Okay, I'm going to keep it really short. But first, I do want to thank the ARF and particularly Gail. 2 years ago, when she came to office, I don't know if that's the right expression, but like really focused on changing the ARF. We had a bunch of discussions. We had one of the things we focus on Facebook is hard discussions about how to change things. And her leadership and kind of reinvigorating the ARF has been inspirational. The other thing I'd like to actually just thank everybody in this room because 7 years ago when we started, we had no idea what we were going to do with measurement. All that stuff that you just saw up there, that was you guys, like all of you that kind of inspired, like that's how we should be approaching our business. So I guess all of you deserve the credit. And then I'd like to thank the marketing science team. There's a bunch of them here and a bunch of them around the world. I basically get to take credit for all the work that they do. So I very much appreciate them. So thank you very much.
So now it's my great pleasure to present the Board of Director Lifetime Achievement Award, and Jan Fulgoni is going to be actually helping me with this because he was last year's recipient of the Board Member of the Year. And Jan actually is instrumental in the name of this award because he said, I'm too young to get a Lifetime Achievement Award. So we called it the ARF Board Member of the Year, Lifetime Achievement Award. We just had to sneak that in. This is also a peer-nominated award by the Board of Directors of the ARF, which recognizes an outstanding ARF Board of Directors member who's gone above and beyond the call of duty in service to the ARF and to the industry. And it's my very great honor to kick off the tributes to our ARF Board Member of the Year, Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Artie Bulgren. Artie began his career at AC Nielsen, cutting his teeth on analytics early on. He followed the measurement industry and led out and then moved to ESPN, taking on roles of increasing responsibility, culminating in his leadership role as SVP, Global Research and Analytics. If you were able to join this morning's leadership presentations, you know that Barry Blinn spoke of the amazing transformation of ESPN's research team, be brief, be brilliant, or be gone. And trust me, Artie's team at ESPN is anything but gone. They're all right here at this front table. Every industry event I attend with senior management from ESPN, Artie and his team's work is appreciated, evangelized, and understood. What you may not know, however, is that his leadership of his team at ESPN is the tip of the iceberg. His role as a board member at the ARF began in 2005, and he actually served as board chair from 2006 to 2008. With several decades of connectivity to the ARF and commitment, it's clear to his board member colleagues the contributions that he makes. He consistently brings issues and opportunities to the ARF to push things forward. A natural collaborator, he still pushes hard for growth and change. The re-engineering of the Ogilvy Awards, judging papers for key conferences, creating opportunities for his team on all of our stages, Chicago, San Francisco, and of course, New York City, hosting the board strategic session at ESPN's offices, his sponsorship of our intern program, and a special lunch every year, which is a personal highlight, connecting ESPN's interns to ARF interns and connecting to the young pros. But most importantly of all, Artie has consistently brought thought leadership to the main stage of our Rethink and audience measurement conferences and our industry leader forums, along with other leaders. And I just can't thank you enough personally, Artie, for everything that you've done for me and my role here and on the executive committee. And I would like Jan to join and pay tribute as well.
Thank you, Gail. So it's a privilege and a delight for me to be here to make a few comments for you in honor of Artie. 34 years in the industry. Some people say he started when he was 6, but it's not true. One of the most impressive things is that he spent almost 20 years now at ESPN, which in today's day and age is a tenure that you don't see very often. So clearly he's doing the right things. One of the things I've observed over the years is that you don't get to be head of research at a major corporation like ESPN without having perfected the basic requirements. You have to be able to build a staff of smart, bright people. You have to be able to get them and persuade them to come and work for you. And Artie's built a staff from, I think it was 2 people when he started to 70 today, which is really impressive. You have to be able to certainly understand the basics of market research, especially in an industry as complicated and as far-reaching as sports. More sports content is consumed across more platforms than any other type of content, and the measurement challenge there is really tough. You also have to be able to communicate with top management in a very persuasive and credible manner, and Artie has perfected that and the other skills that I just mentioned. He's also, though, has skills that, in my experience at least, you rarely find in somebody at that senior level of a corporation. And what I mean is that he has always been innovative and really broken the mold and pushed the companies that he works for into areas that are totally new, that are risky. And some of the examples would be that he built I think the first out-of-home measurement system, the Total TV Audience Monitor, that I think was then syndicated, the ESPN Ad Lab in Austin. And then my personal involvement with Artie in terms of innovation, I get a call from him about 3 years ago, out of the blue, where he asked me if he thought that ComScore could get together with Arbitron to build a multi-platform system that they urgently needed, which has now become Project Blueprint. And I remember thinking, wow, you don't get that kind of a request too often in your lifetime. And I'm sure that there was risk on Artie's side when he took that step and placed that call. And I'll forever respect him for doing that. The other thing about Artie, for those of you who know him, this is not going to be a surprise, but he is one of the most self-effacing and humble people that you will ever meet. And again, somewhat rare for somebody at that level of seniority. He's always ready to help in the industry that we all work in, and Gail mentioned some of the things that he's done on behalf of the ARF. I'll mention just a couple of others. Former chair of the MRC, current chair of the TV Audit Committee at the MRC, on the executive committee of SIM today. He finds time to help this industry in ways that he's not obligated to as part of his day-to-day job, and for that I have a tremendous amount of respect. He also mentors his people, and if you talk to the people who either work for Artie today or have worked for Artie, you'll get nothing but kudos for the time that he puts against their own personal development. He is a really, really nice human being. And the best example maybe I can give you of that is that Artie and his wife set an example for their 2 sons that resulted in both of them entering the market research industry. And I ask you, how many people today, parents, can say that their children followed them into the same industry that they're in without being hit across the head and demanded that they do it? And I think that in many ways that best sums up what Artie Bulgren is as a human being. So in conclusion, Artie, forget about improving your golf game. I know you're working on it, but forget it, because this industry isn't going to let you retire for a long time yet. Now, I am going to do something that's also very risky, and I'm going to try to emulate what Gail just did. There's a video. So, Artie's team has put together a video, and let's see if we can roll it now.
I can't think of a more deserving individual to win an award referred to as Great Mind. Artie, on behalf of everyone at ESPN, congratulations. You are very deserving of this award.
As an HR business partner, I have the pleasure of working with Artie and his team. Artie is someone who's highly respected, who provides a culture of continuous learning while making others better along the ride. It is truly a pleasure to work with Artie.
I was at a research conference recently, and I wasn't showing my name tag. And the person next to me observed people going by, and she said, "That's Artie Bulgren." And I pretended and I act shocked. "Really?" She said, "He's a legend." It was a very nice moment, and of course something many hundreds of people say when Artie walks by them. Congratulations, Artie.
Congratulations, Artie. This is so well deserved. And on top of all of the great things that you do for the industry, I think something that's really special about you is the way that you treat your people. And you give us the opportunity to succeed here at ESPN, which allows us to do great things not only for our company, but for the industry. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Artie. I am so thrilled that ARF has recognized you with this award. As someone who achieves every day, you certainly have put together a lifetime of achievement.
Out of all the people there tonight, I might be the luckiest because I got to work with Artie's great mind for 17 years. And I've always said that there was never an organization that didn't want Artie as its president or its chairman or on its board. And it's a distinguished list of organizations, the MRC, the RTRC, the CRE, SIM, and of course the ARF. And I know that the ARF and the industry is better off because of Artie's calm, thoughtful, experienced leadership. This reward is greatly deserved. Congratulations, Artie.
When I think of Artie Bulgren, I think about passion, leader, thinker, Met fan. All great things to be, except for maybe the Met fan. Artie, congratulations for contributing so much to our industry, so much to the advertising business, for making my job one heck of a lot easier. The Advertising Research Foundation has made a fabulous choice for its Lifetime Achievement Award. You're the best, Artie.
Artie, you're an industry giant, and we're very fortunate to have you here at ESPN within the walls of the Armory. Thank you for your partnership over the past 16 years and for your friendship. You make our work better, and we couldn't do what we do without you. Congratulations, and thank you.
Mom, John, and I are here today, and we're very proud to see you accept this award.
Looks like all those late nights finally paid off. Congratulations.
Congratulations, and well done.
So, consummate collaborator, unsung hero, colleague, and friend, please join me in congratulating Artie Bulgren for his award. Ready? Come on, Jan, dive in. Dive in. We're all here. Yeah.
Good God. I am very proud to receive this, incredibly honored, and quite frankly, totally overwhelmed. Thank you, Jan, for that. Thank you, Gail. Thank you to the ARF and my peers, which of course makes this so much more special because, you know, the peers in this organization on this board are clearly the best and brightest in the industry. And when you think about the history of the ARF, as I've been doing, you know, sitting there at the table wondering how I'm going to get through this thing, I would not be up here without the ARF, it's for sure. And it was, it seems like not too long ago, but it was, where I was working basically across the street of the Hilton here at 1290 Avenue of the Americas for Nielsen, and we would, as an analyst, we would pack up our things in March, move across the street, and participate in Rethink. And the power of the ARF since then has just been overwhelming in terms of its influence on my career. And I see tables of influencers and people who were my heroes growing up in media research, which makes this even more overwhelming. I have to say some thank yous, and it has to start with my family. My wife, Ann, for 33 years, and my two boys who have been my, you know, backbone and inspiration for all that time. Ann's father in particular, I have to mention, when I first got started in this business, who was head of broadcast at J. Walter Thompson in the golden years of television, was a huge fan of research and kind of instilled that on me. And especially in my early days in Nielsen, we would talk a whole lot, and there was a piece done on him in Media and Marketing Decisions magazine. Some of you old-timers remember that. His name was John Sisk, and in that piece, it said that, you know, Jack would wager on 2 raindrops falling down a window, except that he would do the research first. That's the kind of person he was, and he taught me the meaning of research in the role of media. It was significant. Fast forwarding, I have to thank my incredible team. We call them the 5 families, and you know, it's not about me, it's about who I surround myself with, clearly, and these are the people that I surround myself with each and every day. We know what our job is. It's to inform, it's to inspire, it's to innovate. They are experts at what they do. They are excellent at informing and inspiring, driving decisions at ESPN, but they are also terrific at innovation, which I think is our hallmark. And we do that through tremendous collaboration within the organization. As you saw, we engage our marketing teams, we engage our sales teams, we drive revenue. But also it's the collaboration with our partners. Many of you know who you are in this room. It is all about effective collaboration and getting the work done and sharing. And then lastly, I just want to talk about ESPN. It's been a great place to work over the last 20 years. But also I have not forgotten my years at Nielsen. Those first 9 years have had a tremendous, left a tremendous mark on me, and everything that I learned there has to do with the work that I'm able to complete today. But the difference at ESPN is that we have figured out over the past 19 years how to affect decisions, how to stimulate innovation, how to improve our product, but more importantly, how to drive revenue. My boss, Sean Bratches, is in charge of basically all of the revenue for ESPN, which is a daunting task. He's our #1 supporter, and he knows that what the power of research and analytics is in terms of driving revenue and growth for the company, and I think that's our difference. Anyway, again, I want to thank the ARF board. This is a tremendous honor, and as Jan said, you're not going to lose me anytime soon. Thank you.
Congratulations, Artie. So the next and final award is another Lifetime Achievement Award, and this one honors an individual who has made significant and fundamental impact in the industry. Curiosity, a passion for learning, and integrity define Dr. Horst Stipp. After receiving his PhD in sociology from Columbia University, Horst became involved in media research, and after a long career in the research department of NBC Universal in New York, Horst joined the ARF as EVP Global Business Strategy in January 2011. He's now EVP Global Ad Effectiveness at the ARF's Research and Innovation Group. His publications in English and German cover a wide variety of topics. He's been known to say he doesn't have a German accent, he has a Brooklyn accent. That's one of my favorite quotes. Recently, his work has focused on changes in media use and their impact in consumer behavior and advertising in the digital age. I'm a researcher, so I did some research, and actually I have listed here 49 publications of Horst's. And including, and this marks him as a visionary truly, in 1999 he wrote with Rex Briggs How Internet Advertising Works, back in 1999, and in 2001 he wrote about the future of interactive television. So imagine in those days thinking about the future of where we are exactly today. He's graced the academic stage, taught a seminar in media metrics at Columbia. From 2000 to 2010, he's received numerous awards and recognitions. He's a member of the Council of Research Excellence, co-chair CTAM. He won the CTAM Tammy Award. He was program chair in 1995 of APOR, to name a few. It will become as no surprise to any of you that there were many people who wanted to pay tribute to Horst. We've arranged with the Hilton to stay here for a while. The program people are going, no, we haven't. We're going to begin with a video from Scott McDonald, and then we're going to hear from Nicholas Givone, Alan Wurtzel, David Marins, and David Poltrak. In that order, we're going to let people come up in succession. And it's been just such a great personal honor to spend time and work with Horst. I consider it to be the highest honor of being able to have this job at the ARF. I like to call him Dr. Horst Stipp, every single day. And I just really want you all to know what an incredible person, professional leader, and really game changer and standard setter Horst is for the industry, for the ARF, and for all of us, and for me personally. So with that, we're going to roll the video from Scott, who's also here in person, and then we'll let the speeches roll.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's talk about Horst.
Yes, so tell me about Horst.
So, Horst. You know, everybody else on this video, if anyone else is getting on this video, is probably going to talk about Horst's work in television. So I'm not going to talk about that. I think I'll talk about Horst as a teacher, because I had many fun years collaborating with Horst and with Dave Poltrak, teaching a course on media economics and media measurement at Columbia Business School. And so you get several strong impressions of Horst from that experience. One is that for a short person like me, he's really tall. And whenever we would stand at the podium together, it would be kind of, Laurel and Hardy, very funny. The other thing, though, that you clearly get is just his commitment to teaching and his feeling for wanting to communicate directly with students, kind of meeting them where they're at. The students very often would be so on to the next thing and always very interested in, they presume that we live in a world of revolutionary change, and in fact, a lot of that's true. But what Horst was always there to remind them of was the fact that people don't fundamentally change, that they tend to do a lot of the same kinds of things that they've done in the past, and that when you strip away the hype and look at their actual behavior, you get a picture of a lot of continuity and not of change. So he was a very good teacher, I think, in respect that he understood where they were coming from and why they were all excited about the new thing, but also served as an anchor to a broader reality that comes when you spend a lot of time studying the population and not just reading what the journalists are saying. So Horst certainly deserves this ARF award for many reasons, but in my view, his role as a teacher and as a keeper of the flame of continuity is certainly one of those reasons why I heartily endorse this award.
My name is still Nicholas Schivoni, and I want to seriously thank Gail. Are you there? There you are. For inviting me to join Gail and others in this tribute to my colleague and my dear friend, Dr. Horst Stipp. Although our tours of duty had different durations, Horst and I actually started to work at NBC in the same year, 1969. I actually knew nothing of Horst's work until around 1983, when NBC released a landmark report called Television and Aggression, a Panel Study. There were only 3 authors from NBC, and Horst was one of them. I expect I caught Horst's attention 4 years later, 1987, when General Electric took control of RCA and NBC. And Horst and I proceeded to collaborate for the next 13 years with a variety of reporting structures superimposed on us just for fun. So, for the past 25 years, when people have asked me what it was like to work with Dr. Horst Stipp, I replied as one would in Facebook. We got a Facebook? No, take that down a minute. You killed the joke. Now, you know the joke is so good, it'll just go on all day long. I recognize this is sponsored by Facebook, and what I was about to say is, when people would ask about my relationship with Horst, I would simply tell them, it's complicated. I would expect more laughs from a hip audience like this, but what am I going to do? I am, however, thrilled to announce that thanks to Leslie Moonves, and where's David Poltrack? David? And thanks to David Poltrack, the story of Horst and Nick will be coming to CBS Primetime in the fall. Now we can have the next slide. Yes, that's right. The Infallible Couple appears on CBS in primetime this fall. Again, I am disappointed by the lack of laughter. Clearly, you don't know Horst and I well enough. You also don't know David's brilliance in casting Jorge Bergoglio as Nick Schiavone and Joseph Ratzinger as Horst Stipp. I would also suggest you all go to church on Sundays, too. But that's that. To meet the ARF's time constraints, which clearly I'm not going to do anymore, I set a challenge of discerning in one word what best described Horst. And I'm now becoming progressively serious since you don't like my humor. I found the one word, and I'm going to share it with you in a moment. But it is ever so fitting that we celebrate Horst's achievements now, as we are in the midst of the 200th anniversary of the Brothers Grimm. This is no joke. In fact, my personal gift to Horst today will be a unique commemorative edition of Kinder und Haus Märchen. Pretty good? Okay. That is Children and Household Tales. The gift is fitting for a few reasons, not the least of which is because Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm were extraordinary researchers. By studying their research, the fairy or wonder tales that you thought you knew are literally quite other than you know. For example, Cinderella does not have a fairy godmother. Sleeping Beauty does not have an evil stepmother. Rapunzel's pregnant. And frog princes do not get kissed, but turn against wars. And that's only the tip of the horror. Now, the task at hand, describe Horst Stipp satisfactorily in one word. As I reflect on my life's experience with Horst through ingenious collaborative work, surreal business travel, and great culinary experiences, the word that comes to mind is the German word, okay, roll it. And I'm going to try to do this justice, Horst. Bear with me. Gemütlichkeit. Horst, you'll get it right later. And to me, what this means in German, because the language remains still a challenge to me, notwithstanding my study, to me this means a state of warmth, or more importantly, peace of mind. So I dare to reduce my relationship with Horst to one word because I had the great good fortune to know one of the first distinguished chairpersons and presidents of the ARF, the beloved Paul Gerhold. Long ago, as I was considering a career in media and advertising research, I asked Mr. Gerhold what might constitute a lifetime of achievement in the field of advertising. Why would I start if one wouldn't have a lifetime of achievement? Paul was the right person to ask, as many of you probably know, because he was not only a legend in his own time, but he also made other legends legendary through the wise application and practical use of advertising research. As we spoke, Mr. Gerhold had before him what looked to be galley proofs for a small book that he and the ARF were going to publish. Paul reflected on what appeared to be the table of contents or the outline, I couldn't tell, and said a number of things to me which candidly have governed my thoughts and actions since the day we spoke. And so in reflecting on this Lifetime Achievement Award for Dr. Stipp, I thought the counsel given to me by the late Paul Gerhold would be apt as a tribute to Horst. At least for me, these words answer the question, what was it like with Horst at NBC? Here's the answer. Horst always had a sense of purpose and an irrepressible need to fulfill it. His thinking was built on and tempered by a unique personal heritage. He spent a lifetime considering what social science, media, marketing, advertising, and research are and what they do. In particular, he has had a hearty interest in media and advertising people, and media and advertising institutions. Horst thought that a TV program or a TV ad had to get attention, and that they had to do something with the attention they got. He knew the importance of relevance, of defining the problem at hand. He was indefatigable in advocating for orderly planning and methodological discipline. Horst was the bridge between research and management, between viewers and programs, between audiences and producers, between consumers and commercials, between citizens and nations, between one country and the rest of the world. He often was the bridge between research buyers and research suppliers, and as such, he kept himself involved in the hard issues of how research ought to be conducted. Yes, I'm about to conclude. He held to a firm view about media values. He certainly knew what television was worth in all its forms and expressions. In a world of digital computers, big data, and artificial intelligence, Horst looked for original content and authentic conceptualization. He sought to understand what things matter most and how they work for all of us. He understood the strength of standing together. Through it all, he has lost neither perspective nor his wonderful sense of grace. Horst, may the joy of learning and sharing your knowledge never leave you or us. Thank you for inviting me here today.
Wow. So, when I was asked to say a couple of words about Horst, I was thinking about it, and I realized I've known this guy for 40 years, long before, actually, I started working in the TV industry. Now, anybody who knows Horst knows two things about him. Number one, he is really the consummate researcher, but you've heard a lot about that, and you're going to hear more. You already know that. But the second is, this is a man who has never met a meal he didn't like. And what's so annoying is, in those 40 years, he has never gained a single pound. Now, maybe there is a picture in an attic somewhere that's getting big. I don't know, that Dorian Gray thing, but, you know. So that's how I met Horst. I was an academic. I was teaching at the University of Georgia, and I would come to New York to visit. Horst and his boss, Ron Malofsky, would take me out for a great lunch. And that was when I said, you know, this might not be a bad business to kind of get into, but that's another story. But Horst and Ron were the two social research mavens at NBC, and they did some amazing work. Now, for those of you who are too young to remember, there was a time when the three networks, yes, three, not four, they were broadcast networks. In exchange for having a license to print money, they felt a certain noblesse oblige, and they funded pure research to study the impact of television on society. And Nick referred to one of the seminal works that they did. They did some amazing work. And while Horst and Ron didn't invent social research, they pretty much defined it through the 70s and 80s. And one of the initiatives that Horst championed was the development of an NBC children's show called The Smurfs. Now, The Smurfs, if you don't know it, was an animated series about a bunch of tiny blue creatures who lived in a hidden village and spoke in a very unique dialect, which included the word Smurf in almost every sentence. But the approach to that was to incorporate pro-social messages for kids, and it relied heavily, for all the years that it was on television, on Horst research. Now, I've been told by an impeccable source at NBC that Horst received the ultimate recognition for his research by having a Smurf named after him. So I went online and I looked and I found, you can do this, there are like over 100 Smurf names, like Papa Smurf, Hefty Smurf, Grouchy Smurf, Brainy Smurf. I couldn't find a Horst Smurf, but probably it was the Brainy Smurf character that was heavily influenced by Dr. Smith. But over the years, Horst moved on from social research to participating in all of the research activities of the department, from program research, sales and marketing, technology research, and as the business evolved, Horst played a key role providing NBC management with insight and understanding of the impact of the changes in consumer behavior on the business. And I think it's kind of interesting and somewhat significant that even now, as an innovative kind of researcher, Horst is the ARF maven for neuroscience research. So he's never stopped learning. And as somebody that worked close with him for quite a while, I always relied on Horst, and he never disappointed me. In fact, he had a knack for what I would call Horstisms. You heard one of them earlier. He's got a Brooklyn accent. Okay, that's just one of those. But I constantly quote a whole bunch of them. But the one I quote even to this day was something that he would say to me whenever we were writing a presentation. And I was very worried that the audience would be aware of the stuff that we were going to present. And Horst would say, Alan, never, never overestimate how little the audience knows about this stuff. And he was always right. So if great research is a combination of art and science, Horst's impeccable skill set combined with a hugely creative sensibility certainly justifies this great mind's honor. Or, as Papa Smurf would say, Horst, you are some smurfin' researcher. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm David Marins, and it's my great pleasure to talk to you, dear colleagues, about Horst's lifetime of achievements. I calculated that Horst has actually devoted around 10,000 days to doing research. 10,000 days. Of course, there's a spectrum of tasks for those of you just getting into the business: reading, thinking, evaluating, observing, collaborating, hiring, analyzing, writing, reworking, etc., mentoring, lunching, which was always fun, Horst, etc., etc., etc. And then, of course, in this spectrum of tasks were the meetings. Horst, you actually went to 17,302 meetings over the years, plus or minus 4%, mostly with colleagues within NBC, including top management, but also getting together and forging relationships with rivals, with suppliers, professors, and others here and abroad. If you want to see a passport, take a look at Horst. He's been everywhere. And of course, attending and presenting at conferences like this one. What I think is remarkable for the longevity of his career is he's known for staying ahead of the curves, and for generating usable insights for his clients, and finally, for actually bringing business to the industry. I know at the ARF that's been part of his role, but he certainly gave me the brain boost every time we got together. I was going to mention 3 specific areas, but Alan already took care of that. So I want to switch to another achievement. And how can I say? I really don't remember the first time I met him. I don't. I mean, how could you miss him? He's so tall, that mustache, so distinguished. I think he does have an accent, but that's a different story. But I do recall that the circumstances of getting together was a bit acrimonious. I think we were first getting together to discuss something called people meters. And he, of course, was on the selling side, and I was on the buying side. And we had 1 or 2 meetings where it was like, are you kidding me? But we did quickly become, and I'm going to use this pun advisedly, friends. I don't mean friends that just say hi and give me a kiss and shake your hand, but people you can really depend upon. People who you really work with both in business and out of it. He is actually my closest friend in the industry. I hope I didn't insult anybody, but he has been. One of the most thrilling things for me was I remember joining the ARF and heard of all coincidences in all the world he was going to come and work at the organization. So we had 3 glorious years collaborating. He's had a lifetime's work with achievements, both at work and I think in doing friendships. Horst, all I can say is congratulations, Stippy. You've earned it. Thank you.
Many of those who work in the media and marketing research field have on occasion been confronted by an identity crisis. We are all loyal members of the executive teams of our respective employers. on the one hand, but we also see ourselves as members of a profession. Sometimes these identities can come into conflict. No one has balanced this dual role better than Horst Stipp. With his PhD training, his continued involvement in the academic community, and his long-term active involvement with the ARF, Horst epitomizes the ideal research professional. Now, Scott's already talked about our collaboration teaching at Columbia, but I have to add just one thing, and that is, if you've ever taught really bright graduate students, it can be very, very intimidating. But when Herr Professor Stipp, all 6 foot plus of him, let's go with that accent, Brooklyn or German or whatever it is, the students are the ones that are intimidated and you feel a lot more comfortable. Alan and Nick have just addressed Horst's contribution to NBC during his long tenure in that company. My perspective is somewhat different than that of the previous speakers. Like Scott, as I said, I have shared the academic experience with Horst, and like David, I have worked with Horst through the ARF. However, I've also spent a good number of years working in competition with Horst and his NBC team. So while each of the earlier speakers are fully qualified to speak to Horst's great mind, his collaborative spirit, and his work ethic, I believe I am in a unique position to speak to another outstanding characteristic, his integrity. Never in all of the years that Horst and I have represented two companies that have an intense rivalry can I think of one instance in which Horst compromised his dedication to the profession of marketing research in order to promote the interests of NBC. That does not mean that he was not an outstanding advocate for NBC. He definitely was a true champion for them. But in those instances, when one of our company's passionate marketing departments or sales departments went a little over the line in the interpretation of research results, we could always count on Horst to work with us and fashion a solution to the disagreement that preserved the standards of the profession. I have thoroughly enjoyed teaching with, developing research with, and pioneering new research approaches with Horst. But most of all, I've enjoyed debating the major issues with Horst, knowing that we can move the profession forward while also serving the interests of our respective organizations. Horst is my role model. Congratulations to Horst Stipp, a true research professional and a respected competitor.
Yeah, come on up for a quick picture. Yes. Do a quick picture and then, yeah. Yeah. Remember, you have to accept this. Oh boy. Okay, you're up.
Well, thank you all so much. I bet those who don't know me, I'm like really curious now what I actually sound like and what the accent is like, right? Thank you so much for these incredible tributes, David and Alan and Scott and of course Gail and the ARF. You know, when you get a Lifetime Achievement Award, there are just so many people who have helped you, mentored you, inspired you, that you don't really know where to start and where to end. There are so many people in this room who I should really thank individually. Of course, if I did, the notorious ARF orchestra would run me off the stage, or the Hilton bouncers would come and throw us all out. I think we're a little late. So let me just very briefly say, again, thank you for everybody, to everybody who had these very generous things to say about me. I do have to add special thanks to two people. Alan mentioned one of them. That was Ron Malasky was my first boss at NBC. He actually hired me on the spot when I told him I had a German scholarship but wasn't allowed to make much money in addition to scholarship. But then he kept me on staff when he was asked to reduce it by 50%. So big tribute to him. And then secondly, Bob Baracci, who, when it was time to retire from NBC, convinced me that I shouldn't do like Florida or some nonsense like that, but that I really loved advertising research much too much to actually retire. And boy, was he right. I was thinking back, I was 16 years old. We had a high school event, and I wrote a little play. And when I think back on it, that play was a sitcom episode with really wacky product placements. And you got to consider, at the time, it was illegal in Germany to interrupt the television program with commercials. All commercials were in a bunch, you know, prior to prime time. So I think I kind of really had a good life, really lucky to be in this business. And I think I actually have to thank everybody in research, everybody in advertising, and everybody in media, old and new. Thanks again very much.
So we have one more Great Mind little event. We have a tribute video, and then I'm going to just let this roll forward. We have a tribute video, and then Jed Meyer is going to come on stage, and we have some papers that are going to be presented. And Jed is the ARF board member who leads research at Analect, and he is doing some remarkable work there. So please join, celebrate the Great Mind Awards with this video, and then join me in welcoming Jed to the stage.
Cause you're a sky full of stars.